my channel and welcome to today's video. Today we are reviewing the Swan Ballet collection from Flower Nose. Tell me how Flower Nose kills it every time with their concepts because I am literally in awe. I love this entire collection. It's so beautiful and I'm so excited to share the whole collection with you. Flower Nose was so kind to send the dresser over to me again along with the entire collection. I even have the perfumes this time. I think the past two Flower Nose review I've done, the perfumes came later, so I couldn't actually review it for you, but I actually have everything in the collection to review, swatch, compare, everything you need to know we will talk about today. We have so much to get through, so with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Alright, where to begin? Okay, first off, like always, there is going to be timestamps on today's video, so I'm going to be reviewing product by product. If you're curious about the eyeshadow, the powder, the lip products, you can fast forward to where you need to be. I know today's video is going to be a long one. I have my green tea right here next to me to get me through it. I want to start off with the dresser, the elephant in the room right next to me. Isn't it so pretty, guys? I think this is my favorite dresser out of all the dresses I've received from Flower Nose. It is the biggest, it's definitely the heaviest, and I do feel like it is the best quality. So with the dresser itself, the outside, it has that coating, very Chanel-like. It's so pretty. We have all of the little silver details. It says Swan Ballet on the front and then the Swan Ballet logo on the top. It actually has a key lock that comes with a key and it actually does lock, so it is quite functional, so you can lock it. I think this would work great as like a jewelry storage or any storage really. It's so beautiful. So once you open it up, the top half opens and you get a mirror inside, and then on the left hand side you have the lipstick holders, which you could actually take out if you don't want to store lipsticks in here, and it will look like the other side where it's just like an empty compartment. But then you pull down the bottom half and then you will have three drawers. You can see on the drawers it has little heart-shaped doorknobs, which I love, very Flower Nose as well. I will say though, the drawers don't slide out as smoothly, but I've experienced that with all of the dresses. They don't pull out as smoothly as you would like, but other than that, I think overall everything is really nice and high quality. However, with this dresser, you can only get it if you are purchasing the full collection. So if you want the whole collection, that's everything I'm going to be showing in today's video along with the perfume. It is $749 USD, and I know that sounds like so much money, but I personally think for the quality and the amount of products you are getting, I think you are getting 40 plus products. The packaging, formula, everything is so nice. Flower Nose is one of my favorite brands. I personally think if you have the money to spare, I don't know who has $750 to spare, but like, you know, if you do, or if you want to split it with friends, I think it's totally worth it. But if you want to get it without the perfume, it is a little bit cheaper, so it's $649 USD. And you can also use my affiliate code JUDY at checkout to save an extra 5% off your entire order. I know 5% isn't a lot, but if you're buying the whole collection, I think 5% is pretty decent. But just keep in mind that it is an affiliate code, so I do earn commission when you choose to shop with my code. But alright, let's start talking about the makeup, guys. I'm so excited. Like I mentioned, I like to review in order of application, so we're gonna start off with their Music Box Loose Setting Powders. There are 3 shades in total and they go for $35 USD. Let's have a moment for the packaging because this literally is stunning. So the actual lid itself looks like a music box with that 3D ballet shoe on top. I think that is such a perfect touch. I've never seen anything like this. This is makeup on another level, and you can see the color of the powder through the tub, which is nice. Out of everything, I don't know why I was excited for the loose powder because I saw there was a pink and purple powder and I'm all about that. So inside you do receive a powder puff, which I actually really like. It's very thick and plump and very soft. If you are purchasing the full collection, you will get 2 of the mini puffs, which I also really like as well. This is perfect for the under eyes, but I think the puff that comes inside is also really nice. It's pretty much the same material. One is just small, one is just big. But once you take the puff out, you'll see the powder, and the powder has this mesh covering, which I absolutely love. I tried this Judy doll powder, which is another C Beauty brand, and I love the packaging first off because that mesh layer, it keeps all the powder inside the tub. I think we have this issue with like Western powders. They tip it out with those holes inside, right? So when you close the cap, it's always going to be spilling out and it's just so messy. Yes, it's a little silly thing, but it's something that just bugs me a little. So when you have this mesh layer, you're not actually losing any product at all because it's all kept inside. And the other reason why I love this mesh layer is that every time I go in powder, I'll go in the powder, dab it on the back of my hand, and then go onto my skin. But because of this mesh layer, that kind of already acts as that dabbing off the excess. So with this, you are getting just the right amount of product on your puff, and that's gonna result in non-cakey makeup, you know? Even with this mesh layer on, I will still dab it in, dab on the back of my hand, and go in. So you are getting very minimal powder, but you are still setting your makeup, you are still getting the flawless effect. That's what I love about this entire packaging. The puff is cute, has a pink ribbon. I seriously cannot complain. So with that being said, the first shade we have is Pearl Snowflake. This is the pink powder, and I'll be honest, when I saw it in the packaging, I was a little intimidated. I have not used a pink powder before. I've always wanted to use the Huda Beauty one, but that one's always sold out. And the pink in here looked really intense, but actually when you apply it, it is a very soft pink, almost translucent pink, but just a little bit tinted. It's not as bright as it looks in the pan. I feel like it really does just brightens up my skin a little. I will say that I do have olive skin tones, but sometimes I feel like I do pull a little bit pink, and I feel like the pink just, I don't know, it's beautiful, okay? I don't know what about it. It is very subtle, I will say that, and I think the pink powder is going to suit more skin tones, not every skin tones, but more compared to the other two powders that we have. And just the powder itself, like formula wise, I love it. C Beauty powders, if you want to have that doe yang flat matte, these powders are the ones to go. I do think these are expensive, and I know the Judy doll one is not as expensive as this, so I personally would still recommend Judy doll. Judy doll does have a lavender powder, but the packaging is not as pretty and extravagant as this. Price wise, I do think it gives a very similar effect. It's in a similar packaging where it has that mesh layer. I am wearing the lavender powder right now, and I think my skin looks flawless. I'm actually considering packing the pink powder with me to Tokyo, and that just being my powder because it looks amazing. I don't feel like it clings onto any dry patches. Like, it just gives you that flawless matte base. If you are a matte girl, these powders are amazing. So with that being said, lavender, which is the one I have on right now, this is Flower Fairy, and the whole concept with the lavender powder is that if you have olive skin tones, the lavender is going to sort of balance out your skin and give you more of a neutral look. If you guys follow me and you know me, you know I love the Fenty Beauty loose powder, and I do compare it for you with the shade. So you can see that Flower Nose definitely has a lot more purple in it, whereas the Fenty Beauty is more of like a milky lavender. I will say the effect on the skin, it does go on a little bit white, so it is quite brightening, but I do think if you have a deeper complexion, it probably is going to give you a white cast. So I would probably recommend the pink powder more than the lavender. However, I do think there is a difference. I will put this TikTok here where I wear the purple and pink side by side. The difference is very subtle because even though in the packaging the purple, the pink might look intense, once on the skin they do blend out more like a tinted translucent powder, if that makes sense. The difference is very subtle, and I feel like it's a difference that you can only see yourself. I feel like, you know, if I went out wearing pink on the side, purple on the side, nobody could really tell. Then we have the final loose powder number 3. This is essentially the translucent powder. I will say that this one does go on a little bit white. It does have like a white cast to it, and usually I wouldn't be such a big fan of that, but because this is like a Swan Ballet, you know, Black Swan, you know, in Black Swan, you know, her under eye is very white. It's very bright. I see a lot of people dress up like that for Halloween. It works. The white one is my least favorite, but overall I think this formula is very creamy. It just blends into the skin. It's flawless. It's probably one of my favorite loose powders, and yeah, like I said, I'm probably gonna bring that with me tomorrow to Tokyo. Alright, so moving along into the next products, we have the eyeshadow palettes. These are so pretty. There are 3 palettes in total that go for 35 USD, and again, let's just take a moment for the packaging. Like, how pretty is this? We have one in the cream, the black, and the pink. I will also show you the outer packaging as well. It's going to come in a blue, pale yellow, and a pink. That's the overall color story for the outer packaging. It's all gonna have that swan logo in the middle, so that's what it's gonna kind of look like. But as for the eyeshadow packaging, this is so pretty. We have the 2 swans in the middle, and then I love that water rippling effect that we have in this packaging. I mean, we see it a lot in all of their packagings, but I think it's just so fitting with the swans. All of the little details details, the silver details, absolutely stunning. And just a recap on the Flower Nose eyeshadow formula before we talk about them individually. Their formula, top tier, okay? I absolutely love their powder formulas. They are so soft and creamy when it comes to the mattes. They're not like off the bat like intensely pigmented like Western makeup, but you are still going to get a lot of pigment and it's very buildable, but they are so easy to blend because they are so soft and creamy. I absolutely love them. And don't even get me started on the metallics. Their metallics are more so like eyeshadow toppers for the most part. They have a lot of micro glitters, so just think like the Urban Decay Moon Dust eyeshadows is going to be very sparkly, very micro, absolute perfection. Like that is my kind of metallic shadow. Give me a micro glittery eyeshadow topper. I mean, they're not just as eyeshadow toppers, I wear them on its own. I have one on my inner corner. It's reflective enough to work on its own, but it's sparse enough to place on top of other shadows. It's perfect, okay? It is just so beautiful. So with that being said, let's talk about the first palette, which is White Swan in the white creamy packaging. So across the board, all the palettes will have 4 creamy mattes and then 2 metallics on the side. You can see the embossment on all of these shades. I did not want to touch this because it was so pretty, like the detail, like the corset and the ballet shoes. I'm just so in love, guys. This is so beautiful. But for the White Swan palette, we're starting off very peachy and pink. So this one is definitely the most, I guess, everyday approachable out of all 3. I think it's so pretty, and with this palette, you definitely can't get too dark with it. It's like more of a light to mid-tone palette, and that is actually the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes right now. So I first went in with the deeper peachy shade as my transition shadow, and I just sweep that all over my lids, blending that up into my crease, getting that soft blend. I also took that onto my lower lash line as well, just sort of all over just to get the base going. Then I went into this very delicious chocolate brown at my outer corners. I love the combo of peach and brown. It's just so warm, so delicious. I love it. So that was at the outer corners, also on the lower lash line as well to define. As you can see, that's what I meant by like it's not gonna get so dark. It's very like a mid-tone light type of look. Then I'm gonna go into the lightest peachy color, and I'm gonna use that on the inner third of my lid to sort of highlight, sort of just to brighten up that inner corner a little bit more. But because this look is all matte, I'm gonna go in with the silvery metallic and use that to highlight my inner corner. It is a beautiful reflective silvery inner corner highlight. It's reflective enough to work on its own, but you can see all of those micro glitters on the eye. And essentially this is my look for today. I'm calling this my ballerina princess look. Then we're going into the second palette. This is Black Swan, of course, in the black packaging. Absolutely stunning as well. And this overall color story is definitely a lot more smoky, but you have that pop of red, which is really nice. And I was actually really excited to do this look because I was inspired by a face chart that I saw on Little Red, and I essentially recreated this. I first took the dark gray color as my base, and because this palette is the darkest, you just want to take a little bit on your brush, work slowly and build that up. So I'm going to blend that up towards my brows and also on my lower lash line. I'm not being shy at all. Like, this is going to be our dark smoky look, so we are taking that everywhere. Then I'm using the black just at the outer edge just to deepen out the look, and I'm also going to use this to define my lash line. Then we are taking the matte white to highlight the inner third, sort of similar to what I did with the first look. But the matte white, once you sort of pair it on top of the gray, it looks more so like a light gray. But I'm just using that at the inner third just to brighten up the look. And then I'll go in with the dark gray metallic, and I'm going to use that to blend the white into the black just so we have a softer blend. And again, a lot of micro glitters in this, very pretty as well. And I also do want to note that in the Black Swan and the Pink Swan palette, one of the metallic shades is a duochrome, which is really pretty. So that white on the right hand side that you see, it looks white, right? But once you actually swatch it, it is like a violet. The palette does have like a shape-shifting type of eyeshadow, which is really nice from Flower Nose. It's nice to see them do something a little bit different. And then I'm going to take that deep red matte shadow, and I'm going to use this in a few places. I used it at the lower lash line, just at the outer edge, also in the inner corner on my lower lash, and then I'm sort of creating like that swan swan, so it kind of looks like a heart when you're connecting the two in a way. My best tip would just to be let it flow with the natural curve of your lid space, and I feel like that's gonna give that like swan type of curve, if that makes sense. But overall, I love how this look turned out. I will leave a link to the face chart and to the person that created that face chart, because I've never done a look like this before, and I think this palette was literal perfection for it. And then lastly, we have the Pink Swan palette. So this is in the pink packaging with the pink swan on the cover. Super cute as well, and just like the name suggests, this is going to be your pink palette. You guys know me and you know that I love my pink shadows, so when I saw this, loved it as well. This one also has a duochrome in it, so it's the one on the left. This one is like a very interesting sort of duochrome, so it's very pinky based, but when you flip it, it kind of has like a greenish shift. This one was quite hard to capture, but trust me, it is a duochrome. It's not like an ordinary shade, but I really do like the look that I got out of this one. I mean, it's all pinks. Like, it's a palette that I know I'm gonna use a lot. So what I did first is that I took the peachy pink as my base and my transition shadow. So again, sweeping that onto my lid, blending that up into my crease, taking that onto my lower lash line as well. That's just always the first step that I do. Then I'm going in with the dark brown to deepen out the outer corners and define the lower lash line. So this dark brown does go a little bit darker than the one in White Swan, so you definitely can take your look a little bit deeper with this palette. Then I'm going to be taking the silvery pink. This definitely reflects a lot more silver, but it does have like a pink undertone to it, and I'm going to use that at my inner thirds to highlight, also taking that into my inner corners as well. And that was just a really quick look with Pink Swan. Honestly, quick and easy. I absolutely love it. I think it's so pretty. And then next up in the collection, we have a new formula. These are their liquid eyeshadows. There are 5 shades in total, and they go for 18 USD. And although they are saying that this is a liquid eyeshadow, I would say it's more like a glitter liner. Even just the applicator itself, it's, you know, very pointy like a liner would be, more so than like a doe foot applicator that I would imagine a liquid eyeshadow. And these are really pretty too. I love a good glitter liner. I love highlighting my under eye bag with that. It really makes your eyes look bigger and just pop out. Using glitters is my favorite thing. I know glitters isn't for everyone, but in Asian beauty it definitely is for everyone. So I'll just go shade by shade and we'll talk about them. So the first shade we have is Diamond Star, and that is actually the glitter that I have on right now. Out of the bunch, this one definitely has more chunky glitters. You can see those actual glitter particles, and they're a lot thicker than the rest. But overall, the color of it, it's a white base and it has glitter reflex of green and blue. I would say that is the most apparent shades that I see, and this one is going to be the thickest in terms of glitter size out of the bunch. Then for number 2, this is called Shining Nova, and this one definitely in terms of texture is a little bit more metallic, so it's gonna have more of an opaque base, and the color of it is like a taupey bronze kind of shade. It has reflex of a lot of silver and yellow, which is really pretty. So for warmer looks, I definitely like this. Then on to number 3, which is called Rock Ballet. Similar to number 2, this has more of a metallic base, so it's a little bit more opaque than the rest, whereas the rest might be a little bit more scattered out. You're gonna see this one a lot more stronger, so even like cutting the crease out with this would be really pretty, and you can't go wrong with like a true silvery glitter liner. I think this one is probably most universal and maybe the one that I'll get the most use out of. I'm not too sure yet. But going on to number 4, this is a Perfect Blossom. The Perfect Blossom is quite unique. Like, it has a lot of different shifts. Like when you look at this in the packaging, it looks quite white and you see reflex of blue and green, but actually once it's on, it kind of gives off like a peachy vibe. So it definitely has a strong reflex, like a peachy pink. So this one is very pretty too. Lots of dimension in this one. I feel like this one probably gives you the most dimensional look. And for the final shade, number 5, is called Cracking Crystal. This one is also quite dimensional as well. In the pan, you can already see that's going to have a duochrome flip. It's going to be like from pink to gold, I would say, but then when you swatch it, you see more of the pink. I also see hints of like a bluish type of color. It is a very unique type of glitter. So the way I see the 5 glitters is that number 1 is your chunky glitter, so you get more texture. Then number 2 and number 3 is more metallic, so this would be good for cutting out the crease. And then number 4 and 5 is more multi-dimensional, you get a different reflect, and these are a little bit more of a scattered glitter. So I like how within the 5 everything's a little bit different from each other. You get different textures, different size, and in my personal opinion, having glitter liners is always so helpful to really enhance your look, especially if you like monochromatic looks. Getting it in the matching glitter color is absolutely perfect. So these are really pretty too. I really like them as well. I did not even mention the packaging, which is so pretty, by the way. Again, on the cap it has like the 3D ballet shoes, and there's a lot of embossment on the packaging. Also on the actual component there is a little swan there that says flower nose. It is a little tiny tube. If we're going to compare it to the lipsticks, it's a little bit shorter, but I also really do like the liquid glitters as well. Then we come onto the cheeks. So we do have some embossed blushes. There are 5 shades in total, and these go for $26 each. Again, this packaging, I'm so in love. The little swans are making like a heart shape. Like, how cute is that? All the blushes have a different color theme. All the swans are different colors. The ribbons are different colors. The details, guys, look at the details. It's absolutely perfection. And before we talk about the blushes individually, let's talk about the formula, just in case you guys are new to me and you don't know my opinion on Flower Nose's formulas. So their blushes are one of my favorite formulas. Something about their powders are very blurring, so even though you're applying a blush, it gives a very soft blur to the cheeks, and the colors can be very, very light. But if you can find a shade that works for you, you will absolutely love it. The embossment, okay, this is called embossed blush for a reason. The embossment is so pretty. Like, I did not want to use these blushes because I don't want to get rid of the embossment. There is just so much great detail to the actual pan. Like, I don't even know how they do this, but it's so pretty. So with that being said, let's just get into the individual shades. Number 1 is in the white creamy packaging, and this one is not a blush, okay guys. This one is lighter than my actual skin tone. I don't know who this would work for. I guess if you're like super pale, maybe you could use this as like a base blush, and then you could mid-tone blush with a darker one on top of that. I don't really know who this would be working for. This one just makes no sense to me at all. It's just not workable. I mean, I tried it for you guys, but I did put a blush on top of it later, but you know, I put it on my skin for you so you could see how pale this is. I would probably use this like to blend out my eyeshadow, like around the edges or something. That's probably how I'm gonna get my use out of it. And then number 2 blush is in the more true pink packaging. Super pretty as well. These swans are pink too, and this is actually the blush that I'm currently wearing on my cheeks right now. It definitely is more of like a pale pink blush. Once on the cheeks, it does go on a little bit lighter than it looks in the pan. I feel like in the pan it looks a little bit more brighter and a bit darker, but I think on me it does go a little bit lighter. Not too bad though, but I would probably use this as my base blush, and then I would go in with a darker blush to mid-tone blush. However, I do think it's a really pretty like cool tone pink. So if you are like fairer than me, then I think this will be really pretty. Then we come on to number 3. This is called Silky Ribbon. This one I feel like is going to be a popular shade. It's like that hot purple pink color, that Dior pink color. This is Flower Nose's version, and I think it's absolutely stunning. I wore this with a spring look that I did, and I love how it looks. This one definitely will show up a little bit more on a medium complexion. I don't know about deeper. This one definitely is probably going to be the darkest out of the bunch, and I do think it is more of a unique shade when we are talking in comparison to other Flower Nose blushes. And then for the 4th blush, this is in the black packaging. So we have the black and white swan, super pretty, and this is described to be like a creamy apricot. So it's a very pretty on the cheeks. I really like this as well. Definitely for maybe like a warmer look, it's very pretty too. Then we come on to the last and final blush. This is called Dreamy Season, and I wore this with my pink swan look. It is definitely a peachy pink. It's very bright in the pan, but on me I would say it definitely leans a bit more pink. Like in the pan it looks peachy, but on me I think it's leaning a little bit more to the pink side, which is not a bad thing, but just something to point out. And I think overall all the blushes are really pretty. I think if they can fit your skin tone, then I would definitely recommend. But number 1, that was like a dud. I would say. And then finally onto the last makeup products, we have a new formula again. This is their Shine lipsticks. There are 9 shades in total, $20 each, and there are 3 sets of packaging. The outer packaging itself is so pretty. These are quite thick, honestly, like they're quite hefty as well, but there's a lot of embossment on each of the caps. Even on top as well, you have that logo, that imprint. It is really, really pretty. So if we're going to speak about the formula, it's pretty much like the Floret Jelly Lipstick, like the Hourglass Phantom Volumizing Lip Balm. It's like a glossy tinted lip balm, like a jelly lipstick. I recently ranked all of my jelly lipsticks, which I will put up here for you guys if you want to check that out. It's essentially, it is a formula like that. I could have added this into that video. There is a lot of pigment, so you won't see the natural color of your lip, but it's comfortable because it has that hydration and it has sort of like a shiny gloss, but it's not sticky. You know, so it's a good in between. It's really, really pretty. I really do like the formula. I will say though that the overall color story is very warm, and personally I like a pink color on my lips, and we do have some pinks. I will give them that, but it's very warm this time around, and I was wanting some more cooler tones, I will say. But to always know with this type of formula is to not scroll it up too high where you're gonna break the product off. I know MAC had a lipstick like that, and a lot of TikTokers were like, for clickbait honestly, but you're not supposed to roll it up so high. The formula is a little bit more fragile, you could say, because it's just so soft. But with this formula, I will say though, compared to the other sort of jelly lipsticks I've tried, this one is a little bit harder. So even if you press down, it's not gonna smush around. It has that like compressed feeling to it. So even if you do scroll it up too much, it's not going to like smudge off because it's a little bit harder compared to other ones I have tried. So from shades 1 to 3, it's going to be in the pink packaging, and this is going to be sort of your warm peachy pinks. And then from 4 to 6, this is going to be in the blue packaging, and these are going to have more of a pinkish undertone. And then lastly from 7 to 9, this is in the white packaging. These are going to be a bit warmer. We're going to have some reds, some more deeper shades. So starting off with number 1, this is called a Little Star, and this is described to be a nude coral. So if you are just wanting like a nude peach type of color, I definitely would go for Little Star. This one is very pretty too. Then into number 2, this is called Mary Jane. This is described to be a nude terracotta. I would say that this one is quite similar to Little Star, but just a little bit more to the nude pink side. It's not as peachy as number 1. So if you wanted something a little bit more neutral, I would go for Mary Jane. Then for number 3, this is called Sweetheart. This one is actually one of my favorites. It's described to be a nude peach, but even though it's a peach, I feel like it has a slight pinkiness to it, but overall very peachy, and it is the darkest one out of the pink packaging. Now we're moving on to the blue lipsticks. So number 4 is called Silver Moon. This is a nude pink, and this one is definitely the one that's the most nude out of the bunch. It's definitely a little bit more, I guess, I don't know if pale is the right term, but it definitely doesn't have that vibrancy as the rest do. But I think if you're doing a really bold eye look, I would go for Silver Moon for sure. But now we're moving into number 5, which is called Endless Summer, and this is described to be a warm peach, and it is the color that I'm wearing right now, and it's actually my favorite out of the bunch. I feel like number 5 and number 4 is always my favorite, so this time around number 5, Endless Summer, is my favorite. Although it's described to be a warm peach, I will say it definitely has more pink in it. This is the color that I wish my lips would always look like this color. It's like my lips were better. That is the type of shade. I think it is really, really pretty. My favorite out of the bunch. Then number 6 is called Blue Ribbon. This is described to be a cherry blossom pink, and this one's also another favorite of mine. It is a little bit more vibrant, I would say, a bit more pink. So definitely for more pinky looks, I could see myself wearing this one a lot more. But then we're coming on to number 7. We are moving into the white packaging. This is called Ballet Dream, and this is a bright red. It has a hint of like raspberry pink in it as an undertone, but nonetheless very pretty. Then number 8 is called Dancing Shoes. This is a deep rose wood, and it's like a burnt terracotta orange type of shade. I feel like this one would be really pretty in the fall time. Like this, is screaming fall to me. And then lastly, number 9 is called Midsummer Night, and this is a burgundy red. It definitely has more hints of like brown in it, which is still very pretty, but like a brownish red, which again would be so perfect for fall. And overall, the formula on this I actually really do like. I would recommend if you see a shade that you like. I think this is a nice everyday color to wear, like even full glam. This looks really pretty. It's a very versatile type of product, and that's why I love this formula, and I did a whole video on them ranking it. So again, I'll have that video linked up in the card. This is like my 5th tea break. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm losing my voice. But the last things I want to review are the perfumes. So I finally have them that I can talk about it with you guys. The last 2 collections I did receive the perfumes, but I got it after, like quite a while after I did film those reviews. So this time it came early. I can talk about it with you guys. I literally just filmed like a first impressions sniff test on my TikTok, which I will have that link as well if you want to just know my first impression. These are the 2 perfumes that they have. Packaging again, stunning. The swan on top, oh, mesmerizing. So these are $50 each. It comes with 50 mils, and this one in the blue packaging is called a Ribbon Ballet, and this one is my favorite one out of the 2. It's not my favorite perfume ever. It does smell a little bit more generic, but I feel like the longer it's on you, the more it develops, and it actually smells quite sweet. Like I would think this would be a really nice spring type of perfume. I will have the notes on the screen, so obviously you guys can base it off of that. If you are curious about my favorite perfumes, my absolute favorite is Chanel No. 5. Like, smell like baby powder, but girl, I love that perfume. It's so, it's perfect. I also really like Jo Malone Nectarine Blossom as well. But the pink perfume is called Swan Soloist. It is just tinted pink, and this one definitely smells like roses. It's a little bit too strong for me. I don't mind a little bit of rose, but it does smell quite intense, and the thing is, I don't even know what's in the notes. I have not checked yet. That's for editing duty to do. But it smells like roses to me, and it's a little bit too strong. So it's just personal preference. I think when it comes to perfume, it's very subjective. I personally like the blue packaging more than the pink, but I think both do smell good. I would spray both of them, honestly. And then to finish off today's video, there are some extra products that are not makeup related, which I personally love. Flower Nose has the best little extra gifts and things that you can purchase along with the makeup. So first, of course, we do have 2 blush brushes. These are very similar to the Moonlight Mermaid and Chocolate Wonder Shop brushes, where they are a little bit more dome shaped, whereas the Strawberry Rococo collection and the Unicorn collection, the more flat top or angled. These are very similar, even with the jelly handle. We of course have the handheld mirrors as well. There are 3 shades in total. We have the pink, the creamy yellow, and then the baby blue. These are all $25 each, and Flower Nose's mirrors are my absolute favorite. These are so pretty. I would say the blue one's actually my favorite. We also have these pillow pendants. They're $8. It comes in white and pink. You could spray the perfume on this. You could hang it on your bag, on your doorknob. I love it. There's also a paddled hairbrush as well. That's $20. All silver, all embossed in the Swan Ballet embossment. Absolutely beautiful as well. We also have 2 hair clips in pink and blue for $8 each, which these are like little clippies, so these are really pretty too. Matches the collection perfectly. There is also a sticker pack as well that I saw online for $3. And then lastly, in in the collection we have the gift box. So this gift box here is the $10 one. It's pretty big and it's really pretty, like the packaging on this. Imagine gifting any products in this box. But there is also like a small slimmer one for $3, which I honestly would just pick up if you are getting, because it just adds to the collection if you are not getting the dresser. So yeah, with that being said, that is the entire Swan Ballet collection from Flower Nose. I truly hope you guys enjoyed today's video and you found it helpful with just seeing the products in detail, swatches, comparisons, the looks that I did. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Honestly guys, it takes me so long to film these videos. Just even getting the product shots, it takes me a whole day. Thank you so much to Flower Nose for sending me the full collection. This video is not sponsored though, just to let you know. This is just PR. I love you and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!